they're not really going to be paying attention. They're like checked out for the week. Plus I teach little kids. I don't teach adults. They're not going to listen to me. It's scheduled. It's okay. Shh. Okay, everybody take a seat. We're getting started here. Your regular teacher's gone for the day, actually. I know he was at the morning meeting, but he had to leave. He had to take care of something in hell, but he'll be back in a few days. Sent me in his place, so I know what you're thinking. I'm not a model anymore. But yes, I was. Okay. All right. Basic rules. If you need to go to the bathroom, just go. What? Why do you need my permission? Just go. And besides that, there aren't any rules. So do whatever you want. This is all voluntary. And oh yeah, the other thing we need to go over. You didn't know he had a little sister. Did I say that already? Yeah, I'm his little sister. We have different moms, so don't really talk about it, but yes, I am Jesus Christ's little sister. He asked me to make this presentation for if he had to be gone someday, and I could step in. So I haven't seen it in a while, but we're going to be going over something that is really relevant, and that is experiences in America's public education system. When I was sent to Earth, they said I needed to go review 7 different public schools in Florida and Texas. So we'll be going over that today. And then your teacher added a little homework assignment at the end. I don't know the details of that, but we'll get to it when we get to it. And just a reminder, he can hear everything that we're saying and thinking. He wanted to listen in, so it is it's being recorded and it's live. We're live. Okay. Ready? Okay. So first thing, we'll get into our sponsor and my inspiration, the person who taught me to keep speaking when no one asked me to speak, especially on topics that I have no expertise in. So just a moment of silence for him. All right, rest in pieces. First book that I read as a little baby, Chrysanthemum. This was probably, and still is, the only book that actually matters. And if you haven't read it, get out. What else do I need to say about that? That's pretty basic stuff. Okay, next, get into kindergarten. We read Tar Beach. What do I remember about this one? Really sad, really depressing. I remember thinking, is this girl ever going to get out of this dream state? Is she ever actually going to be able to bring her goals to fruition? Because it seems like she's trapped. That was just the vibe I was getting from it. Okay, next book. David Gets in Trouble. This one meant a lot to me as a kid because I got in trouble. I was grounded when I was 5 for talking back. So I could empathize with him. I could relate to him feeling ashamed for doing something I guess he wasn't supposed to be doing. I don't know, what is he like? He's just a baby. What could he do? I don't know. But yeah. This one was important to my development. Now, second grade. We're on our third public school. Now, no one forced me to read this, but it was in my teacher's library. She also had a book about Russia, and it had pictures of these little kids wearing coats, and they were freezing and starving, and their life was just so horrible. So I was glad I wasn't them. I was so glad I wasn't living in Russia. And our teacher also had us pray all the time, which was weird because I remember thinking, pretty sure we're not supposed to be doing this. There's like actually a law against this, but her intentions were good. It didn't get too deep, so. And I didn't actually read this one. I just saw the cover. Okay. Fourth grade. Fourth grade. Because of Winn-Dixie. Apparently, that's like in like Florida. It's just a Florida thing that they have this grocery store called Winn-Dixie. They might be done now. I didn't really like that store. Everything was overpriced. But in the book, the dog's name is the name of the grocery store because she finds a dog in the grocery store, which I think is disgusting because people should not be bringing their animals into the food area. You know? Like, everybody thinks they're an exception, but it's a dog. I don't want the dog next to the apples. I don't want the dog next to the raw meats. We had egg salad sandwiches when we had our little book reading party. Those were good. This book was also sad. So I don't know who was coming up with these sad books. Just wanted to make us really depressed children. Okay, next. Hatchet. This was like Castaway, but instead of a grown man, it's like a 10-year-old boy. And he's in a plane crash, and he gets marooned in some remote area of Canada, and he has to go diving in the water to get stuff out of the plane, just like in Castaway. And he has to like bury the dead pilot. It's really disgusting. I don't even remember how if he got to go home or what, but that one made me afraid. Anyway. Okay, this one was also really sad. This girl is in Mexico. She's Mexican. Most of the people in Mexico are Mexican. And her uncle, burns down her hacienda or something. Her dad dies, but they're, rich, but then now they're not rich because they don't have a house. And they have to leave. And they go to the United States, and it sucks, and it's the Great Depression. And I think she gets pregnant because nobody bothered to teach her how life works. And she's basically in a concentration camp. But she has hope, so she keeps going. And here we are doing the same thing for the 50 millionth time. But what do I know? What do I know? Okay, Across 5 Aprils. This one is about a teenager who is in the Civil War. And I think his dad dies too. And he has to like grow up and deal with the war. And it sucks. Next, Baseball in April by Gary Soto. This one was about, guess what? A young kid growing up, and there's a lot of dust, and they don't have a lot of resources, and there aren't a lot of jobs, and his family is struggling. And what I remember most about this is all the dust and the dirt and everything being really dirty. God, these kids catch a break. This one was the worst one. No, actually, I think there's more bad ones later. So this kid is like, I don't know, 13. He's from Guatemala. And his mom left for the United States a few years prior. And she was supposed to like get a job or whatever and start sending money and building a better life. And he starts sniffing glue and his life is just miserable. And he decides that he's going to go to the United States. But the thing is, you can't just get on a plane. He can't just get on a plane and go to his mom in like North Carolina or something. He has to go on foot. But when you're traveling through Mexico, you have to take these trains, but you can't ride in the train. You have to hop onto the train. And some people get like their legs amputated, and he's getting robbed, and he can't, ask the police for anything because all the police are paid by the groups. And luckily, some very nice women, some moms in the towns, are used to seeing these little boys go on these treacherous journeys to the United States. So they package food and like water and stuff, and they throw it to these little boys on the trains so that they don't starve to death. And, he gets through Mexico. He gets there, and then he gets to the United States, and he does what he needs to do. And eventually he reunites. He gets like a ride to North Carolina or whatever. And then he gets to his mom's trailer, and he's like, y'all live like this? And he just gets disillusioned. He's completely, I wouldn't say devastated, but he's like, where are the streets paved with gold, huh? Where's the opportunity? Where's the water that doesn't have fecal matter in it? Because you guys still have dirty water. Even though you're the richest country in the world, there's fecal matter in the tap water. So that one was sad. Next. This one. Oh my God. Someone has to come to the United States from another country, and it sucks. And he's just a little kid. And everyone's mean to him. And I actually left in the middle of that school year to go to a different school, so I didn't read the whole thing. But, just terrible. Stargirl. This is where we get into like the manic pixie dream girl genre. This girl moves to the city, or not a city, a town. It's like Footloose, but the girl version. And I think it's from the little boy's perspective. And he's like, oh my God, this girl is so different. What a breath of fresh air that she's like not super boring and basic like all of the other people in this town. And they fall in love or whatever, but I felt bad for the girl, obviously, because she's like, you know what happens to people on a pedestal? They fall off. Next. The House on Mango Street. Another sad book about a girl who just can't get out of her nightmare. She just wants to live somewhere where she's not in danger. She's not threatened. She's not manipulated. She's not asking for a lot, but I guess, women just can't have anything. Rules. I hated this one. It's supposed to be like inspiring. This girl has an autistic little brother, and instead of it being about his experience, it's about her experience and how she feels ostracized because people think her brother is weird. And so what does she do? She makes up rules for him in a way that he can understand. Because apparently he's just so different. He's just so out of line with normalcy. And then she starts to like her brother. And then, woohoo. She got herself out of the pity party by making a new one. Next. Tangerine. This one was scary. This kid is like, he has eye problems. He got in an accident. He's like going blind. And he's always made fun of because he has to wear these glasses, right? And then his family moves to Florida. And he loves soccer. And he gets bullied at school. But he loves soccer. So it's okay. But then his soccer friend, who works in a tangerine orchard, he just drops dead one day. He has a brain aneurysm and he dies. And his name is Luis. I remember this. It was like, I thought I was going to have a brain aneurysm. But it taught me to love soccer, so. Okay, this is, we're in 7th grade now. This was not assigned to me, but I remember reading it during history class when our former teacher was being investigated for, So I think we were going over the Crusades with our new teacher, and nobody liked him. And I was just reading this, and I was thinking, that would be crazy if, this happened. If we had to go out into the woods and train. And then I started thinking, maybe we should. Maybe we should get ready. But what do I know? Okay, the outsiders. Every day after lunch, I would get sleepy, and we had English class after lunch. So I would kind of put my head down on the table, and we had the audiobook playing, and I would just kind of pretend like I was reading the book, but I would go to sleep. And I thought the book was stupid. Like, I felt like they were just creating a problem for themselves because they wanted to be outcasts. But they just seemed like regular people. Like, I felt like they were being kind of dramatic. And then their friend died. Why does someone always have to die? Okay. The last book in the universe. This was good. This was like The Matrix for kids. This was the same year that I watched The Matrix for the first time. And so this kid is living in this post-apocalyptic dystopian society where people aren't allowed to have books and everybody's hooked up to these television virtual reality things because life is just so horrible in reality that they have to go pretend that they don't live in a wasteland, and they get pumped with this stuff like heroin, basically, just to trick their minds into thinking they aren't wasting away. And then this little kid, I don't know, somehow he gets a book, and he does the thing, and he goes on a journey, and then he learns the true meaning of Christmas, and that reading is important, and that we should have books so we can learn things. Lord of the Flies. I liked this one. I liked the violence. I read this in one night because I waited too long to read it. And it was good. I liked it. I think it made sense. I don't really remember it, actually. Next. What is this? I'm not sure. I don't know if your teacher added this in. I don't know. Next. This was a good one. This was good. I like this one. I think it taught a lot about isolation and how imaginative you can get when the people you care about disappear and you just have to live without them, and then you start talking to animals. This one was about guilt, but the raven was in there too. Guilt is so human. How can we not appreciate guilt? Next. Okay. Not gonna lie, I don't remember this. Did we even read this? It's kind of weird to just read someone's diary. Must not have been that significant if I don't remember it. Next. Okay, Hemingway. This was really easy to read. Really quick read. I didn't manage my time very well in 8th grade. Yeah. What else can you expect from the most depressed guy that's ever written a book? Good. Solid story. Next. Here we are, 9th grade. Let me tell you, this is when I really started to doubt my English proficiency. I started to think, maybe I don't know English. Maybe I've been lying to myself this whole time. Because the way that this was written, it's like it was meant to weed out anybody who doesn't have ties to the United Kingdom. It was just, talk about great expectations. Does this sentence have to be a paragraph long? And Mrs. Havisham or whatever, God, tragedy. Poor woman. Most dangerous game. What if this happened to you? That's all I could think the whole time. What do you do in this situation? Can you leave? Can you wake up from the nightmare? Can you say no? I think that's the best thing you could do in that scenario, actually. Just say no. To Kill a Mockingbird. My English teacher hated me. She was also involved in the drama club, which I was in on paper because they didn't really let me do anything. They didn't like me because I was not a theater geek. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that I get, picked to be put on the screen. But whatever. We read this without incident. It's pretty normal. Atticus Finch, call me. Romeo and Juliet, same teacher. She would have us change roles every few days. So we got to be different people. We also watched both movies. We watched the 90s one in class, and then we watched the classic one, the girl with the really smooth hair. I enjoyed it, even though I didn't like the teacher. Actually, I didn't not like her. I think I just didn't understand why she didn't like me. But I think she was like pregnant and also getting a divorce. So I understand why she was kind of stressed out and trying to live vicariously through Romeo and Juliet. But if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that happened to you. Anthem. What can I say? I loved it. I absolutely adored this story. Again, let's leave. I mean, why be involved in this joke of a government? I'm just kidding. But if you had asked me when I was 14 what I thought this author stood for, I never would have guessed that she was like that. I'm just gonna stop right there because I've already said too much, but great book. The Odyssey. Oh. This was an adventure. This was fun. I loved reading this. We learned about the value of family and what it means to be tricked by somebody. How to take chances and make risks, and how to get the suitors to think that you might marry them one day until your real husband gets back or whatever happened. And just like having faith that he's not involved with all the mermaids. We didn't read this. No, we talked about it. But no, that was not on the reading list. We didn't read this either. But when you have a good history teacher, you learn that it exists, and you learn why that it exists. This one, I did not finish it. But I got a perfect score on the test because I just once you get in like a certain way into a novel, you can usually just assume what the rest is going to say. That's why I prefer nonfiction, but yeah. I didn't think the cover was that bad. My brother put a wrapping paper on it because he thought if I saw the cover, I would think that it was so stupid and I wouldn't want to read it. But I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, the whole time I was reading this book, it had Christmas wrapping paper on the front. Rebecca. Another woman stuck in a situation. Like an impossible situation. This just made me afraid. She's like the second wife or something, and she's being haunted by the ghost of the first wife who hates her. Like, it's not even worth it. Just leave me out of it. Another situation. It's like these characters are always in situations. They can't just have a regular life. There's like a queen in this book. Give me a break. Queens don't exist. Okay. So that was my education. Your teacher wanted me to go over the Star Student of the Week. I guess that's something you guys do. This guy. The guy right here. I think that's who they're referring to. Just took matters into his own hands. And then the homework assignment. You can read that. I'm not involved in that. If you have questions, you can email your teacher or just like think of your question and he'll get back to you like magic. All right. Thank you guys for being so good. Obedient little students. Just kidding. You did it wrong. You weren't supposed to be good. You were supposed to be talking while I was talking. You were supposed to be disrespectful. You were supposed to tap your pencil against the desk really annoyingly the whole time. No, I'm just playing. All right. Explain Like I'm 5 Friday. I am retired and I'm never teaching again. Have a good weekend. Bye.